If it's a mission no man can survive, he's the man for the job. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Commando.
Let's party.
Hi guys, welcome to Brand X Reviews. Today I'm going to be talking about the director's cut Blu-ray of the 1985 film Commando, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. Cracking film, really was. This was his first film where I think he really was more than just a caveman character. He was a human being in the kind of modern world, I guess, because the only films he'd really done previous to this that were big hits anyway, if you don't count things like Cactus Jack and Hercules in New York and a few others. He'd done Conan, and I think Red Sonja was before this. We'd done the Conan films anyway, and he'd done Terminator as well. Very successful films for the most part. So this was the first film that he'd done where he was just a guy, you know. I say just a guy, he's a commando, but he's a human and you can kind of relate to him more than you perhaps could have done in his previous films. So, such a great film as well. This was around about the time when the Rambo films were coming out, and Stallone and Schwarzenegger were really championing that genre, I think. There were other films that have kind of been out there with guys like that, and like Dolph Lundgren and Van Damme and Seagal, although they kind of came a little bit after this. But they weren't quite as A-list, let's just put it that way, as Schwarzenegger and Stallone. I mean, I do like those actors, movie stars, but no, it wasn't quite the same standard. So Commando, anyways, is one of the best of that genre. It came out at a time that was really kind of when that genre was really picking up. So there were versions of this that I've seen over the years. There was a TV version, which I remember very well. For a long time, that was what we had, I think, from the early 90s, right through to when DVDs came out. This was the DVD, the first issue DVD in the UK anyway, that 20th Century Fox released. It was 2001 when it came out to buy. Now, I remember buying this and being quite disappointed because there was one scene in particular where there was something not quite right. Compared to the TV version. Now, you would expect the TV version to be the censored one and the DVD to have put everything in, especially when it's an 18 certificate. As you can see there's no excuse. You can have violence and all sorts of bad language, whatever, in these kind of things. So it didn't really make sense why they cut this bit where he's on the plane and he's on with this guy that's making sure that he stays on the plane, basically. And what Schwarzenegger does is he kills a guy. He's got this like blanket and he's kind of messing about with it, maybe as a distraction, I guess. And then he elbows the guy in the face, puts his arm around the back of his neck and goes and just breaks his neck. Now, all of that was there apart from the neck break, and it was edited together for this DVD release so badly. It's just like he elbows him in the face, and all of a sudden it cuts, and he's like, he's elbowed him in the face and that's killed the guy. I mean, well, I guess it is Arnie, but I know for a fact there was more to that scene than that. So why did they cut it out on the DVD? I don't know. Stupid ass reason anyway. So for years, that was what we had, and I think they have re-released the DVD over the years with different packaging, and this is the only one that I've owned, so I don't know this from my own experience, but from what I've read of reviews of the other DVDs, they still didn't incorporate that bit back into it, so it was really disappointing. So since like 2001, so 14 years, that's the only version I've owned, knowing that there was more out there. So kind of niggling anyway, let's just put it that way. But to my pleasant surprise anyway, recently in the UK, they've released the Blu-ray version, which is the director's cut. And it contains both the theatrical version and the director's cut on this. And there's a difference of about 5 minutes. Now, the director's cut is really good. It's not just uncensored bits. It's not just the kind of the violence that they put back in. There's a few other little bits as well. There's a bit of dialogue where, in particular, where he's talking to the woman that he's kidnapped, and she's getting to kind of know him a little bit more, and he's telling her a little bit about himself and the missions that he did and how his relationship with his daughter wasn't great because every time she had like a special occasion, like a birthday or whatever, he was away in other countries fighting missions. So it kind of fleshes his character out a little bit. More than there was in the original version of it, and it doesn't really make it drag or anything, because sometimes you get director's cuts and it's like, yeah, I can see why they cut this, because the film just really kind of drags out a bit more now. So they can be interesting to see, but they kind of drag. This I don't think is the case. I think the stuff they put back in was great, and I don't think it should have been cut out in the first place, to be honest. But I'm not a movie maker, so it's not really my place to say. So there was that anyway, but there's a few other little bits as well. But the majority of the stuff that I noticed was the action. There was, like I said, there was the bit on the plane, which I've just kind of talked about, which was really stupid. That bit's back in, it's got the neck break. But there's plenty of other bits as well, particularly at the end with the final shootout, when I think he kills like 80 odd people. And there's just a few little extended bits on there where the shed scene in particular, everybody refers to the shed scene. There's a bit where he goes into a shed and is surrounded by these army guys, and he bursts out. Now there was a few little bits in there where he's throwing like razor blades and stuff at people's necks that were in the DVD, but this kind of expands it even more. And there's like, he's chopping off arms of people, and the guy's like, like rolling around on the floor and stuff, and that wasn't in the other versions that I've seen. And there's bits where he's, like I say, throwing the razor blades at people, and you get to see it in quite graphic detail as well. It's like, ooh, bloody hell. So that was quite interesting to see anyway. But there was one other bit as well, which is the bit where he fights the character played by Bill Duke in the motel room. That bit was, for the DVD, censored and edited so badly, you could tell. But that's all back in this version now. There's just basically bits where he throws him through a door and then he kind of gets impaled on something. And it did show bits of it. It showed the spike sticking out of his chest while he's on the floor dying. In the DVD version, but in this one you get to see him, and he actually kind of grabs him and he says something like, "Where's my daughter being held? Tell me." And the guy's like spitting out blood bubbles, and that wasn't in the other one. The other version, it was just, like I say, it just kind of cut, and when something's been cut and it's just been edited together in such a way, you can just tell when something's been edited like that. You just know that it wasn't shot like this to be edited together like this. There are continuity errors all over the place. And yeah, something just does not feel right about the scene. What the hell? Where did you come from? There. Thor, what the hell are you doing here?
I don't know. Why am I here?
You're not part of this review.
Who the hell edited this? I'm going to cut that with a rusty knife.
You get the point anyway. It just kind of didn't make sense. It just kind of jumped everywhere. And you really kind of get the impression watching it now that if there is anything else that's been cut, it's been edited together quite well because it seems fairly seamless. So that's pretty much my review of the actual cut. Now, the Blu-ray as well has got some other little bits on it too. It's got a few little kind of featurettes talking with the actors that are in the film, and the writers and the producers, all that kind of stuff. One thing that I thought was really funny, because me and my co-reviewer, The Core, have sometimes mentioned, talked about the bad guy in this film, Bennett, where he just does not look like the kind of person that could take Arnie on in a physical fight. I mean, he was a good bad guy, don't get me wrong, he was menacing and everything, but he was just kind of like a flabby Australian with this stupid, like, chain-mail looking thing that doesn't even look like it's made out of metal. Just looks like a knitted jumper basically that's supposed to look like chainmail. I don't know, it just looks pretty bad. And that Tash as well, what the hell. Definitely an 80s bad guy anyway, but what's the point is anyway, the guy's actually on the DVD, or sorry, in the Blu-ray of this in the extras, talking about it, the guy that played him. And he's kind of taking the piss out of himself and how he looked in that film, and I think he said something like, "I wasn't Freddie Mercury on steroids." Something like that's quite funny. So definitely worth it for those extras. There's a few other things as well. There's some deleted scenes that were cut out. Well, alternative scenes anyway. There's not a lot of it, on like maybe 3 minutes if that. And some of it was like the bit at the end where he says, "Let off some steam, Bennett."
Let off some steam, Bennett.
He says something like, "You couldn't take the pressure."
I think it was too much pressure for you, Bennett. Can't take the pressure, Bennett, huh?
And then he says, I guess kind of a one-line that worked, but he said something else as well, like, "I don't like small talk," or something.
I I hate small talk.
And it was like, what? That's not really that funny. So you can see why they didn't go with that anyway. So just alternative bits there. But it's all interesting. I think you can actually see them on YouTube anyway, because I've seen them before. But it's nice to have them included on this. But yeah, that's pretty much it. There's some extra commentaries as well if you're interested in that kind of thing, for both the theatrical cut and for the director's cut. And those are done by Mark L. Lester, the director of the film. So a very good Blu-ray anyway. This is a win for me. This is, usually you upgrade to these things and you sometimes find that the Blu-ray is good and all, but there's things missing on this that were on the DVD, so you have to keep both. Not the case here, so anyone who wants to buy this off me, any of my mates, I've got a spare copy of Commando going for sale because I don't need it. As was similarly the case with the Rambo films, which I'm going to review next. You have the Rambo trilogy box set on DVD, but I recently upgraded on Blu-ray. And like I said, there's nothing on here that's... there's nothing that isn't on here that was on the DVDs. Oh, no, wait a minute. Oh, damn it, yes there is. I'm going to have to keep my DVDs, damn it! Right, that's the next video. I'm going to have a rant about that next. In my next video, I'm going to be talking about the Rambo, Blu-ray, the trilogy. It's the first three, obviously, box set. So if you're interested in that and the kind of the European, not uncut versions, but Blu-ray with loads of extras, but extras that aren't on there, that are on the DVDs, check that out at brandxreviews.com. I'm going to be uploading that pretty soon. So for now, I'm going to say thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hi guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Just so you know, for more news, reviews and retrospectives, you can like our page on Facebook, simply called Brand X Reviews. But as well as that, you can also subscribe to us on YouTube via this video. You can also bookmark our website, which is brandxreviews.com, which is pretty much a central hub for everything that I've just mentioned. So check that out and we will see you next time. Thank you very much.